Hello everyone, welcome to another video on my channel. In this video, we'll be discussing on PySpark Join. So my motivation to make this video to make you a pro on SQL joins. We not only see how SQL join works in general, we'll also see how to write join in PySpark with some real world examples. We'll see joins in details in PySpark and I'll share all tips and tricks related to PySpark Join. So are you ready? Join me to master PySpark Join. So before I jump into join types, right, I would like to go with the basic PySpark Join syntax. So if you guys are already aware of how to write PySpark Join, then you can jump to this particular timestamp to go about the join types, right? So let's see what is the syntax of PySpark join. So this is a very simple one. So if we see that we are joining between two data frame df1 and df2 and we are giving two arguments on and how. Let's see what are those. So on defines joining column can be a single or multiple. So because if you're joining to data frame, you have to give some column on which it has to be joined. So either you can give a single column or you can give multiple column, right? We'll see examples for this. You need to provide how. So this will define the join type, like what type of join you want to do between these two data frame. So if you see, these are all the join types that we'll be seeing today, and these are all available in PySpark. So let's see some examples for it, right? So suppose you're joining two table on a single column, how the syntax should be. So if you see, we are joining the customer df with department df, and what on how we are joining is we are joining on customer department id, and from department data frame we are joining on department id. So basically we are joining between two department id column. Then how we are joining on inner, right? So basically we are doing a inner join between these two data frame, right? So but if you see that this on and how keywords are optional, so either you give it or you don't provide this argument, so that's up to you. And now let's see how to join on multiple column, right? So if you see, this is an example of multiple columns. So if you see that we are joining between customer df and department df, and these are two joining condition that we are giving. One is this, one is this, right? So we are joining between customer department id and we are taking designation from both columns. So basically giving two column for joining. And if you see in the middle, it's a and condition, right? So this two condition, if both of them are true, then you'll be able to do a join. So that's the meaning of it. So now we'll ask how to do OR condition. So you just need to provide a vertical bar, right? So that's how you do the joining on multiple column. I hope that you understood this concept. So let's understand joins now. So my approach in this video will be to show you a visual way of how the join works rather than going for a very old-fashioned definition of it, right? So definition you can derive from the visualizations. So let's see the inner join first. So if you see that we have two tables, employee table, department table, and in employee table we have employee id, employee name, employee department id. In department we have department id and department name. So in downside you will see that I have provided a SQL query. So basically I am selecting the employee id, employee name from employee table. I'm selecting the department id and department name from department table, and I'm doing a join between employee and department. And what column I am providing, because if you see, this is the common column between these two table, right? So there is a primary key to foreign key relationship you can think about, right? So I am doing an inner join, and this is the result that I'm expecting. I'm expecting employee id, employee name from employee table, and department id, department name from department table, right? So let's see how this works. So it will try to join between employee department id to department id. So let's see the visualization first. So first it will search for 20. Okay, 20 is matching with department id, so I'll get this row in the result. right? Then it will search for 30. Okay, 30 is present in department table. It will get the result in the result table, right? But now it will search for 10 and it doesn't present in department table. So it will not come into the result table. So this is how inner join works. So basically you get only the matching records between between table 1 and table 2, right? If you see, only this two particular row is matching between employee table and department table. That's why this two row came into result set. I hope that you understood this one. This is the simplest join type, right? So let's move on. So if you see, previously we saw that there were no duplicates, right, on the joining column. Let's see if we have the duplicates, then how does it work, right? So if you see that in department table, I have a duplicate of 20 and 20, right? One is department name IT, one is department name service. Let's see the same join, how does it work? So first it will see that, okay, 20 is joining with two row from the department table. So it will try to join and you will get two rows in the result set. One is for IT, one is for service, right? This two record. Then it will be same. It will try to match 30. Okay, 30 is matching. This will come into result set, but 10 is not matching, right? So 10 will not come to the result set. So I hope that you understood like how does it work with duplicates. So let's move on. Let's see how left outer join works. Okay, so I have taken the same table structure. Let's run the same join. Only I have changed is like I have changed it to left outer join, right? So let's see how this works. So first it will try to join between whatever is matching. So it's matching, it will come to result set. If you say this is also matching, this will come into data set. And if you see this is not matching, but this row will also come. And if you see it's not matching with right side, right? So I cannot take any value from department table. So that's why whatever column that we are selecting from department table, that's coming as null. So this is how left join works. So first it will print all the matching records. Then it will also consider whatever left in the left side table, right? If you see Kane was only left on the employee table, but it was not matching. So the right side columns are coming as null. So I hope this visualization will help you to understand this left join, right? So if you see the opposite of it is right outer join, right? So suppose I am doing a join between employee to department, and let's see like how does it work. So you can visualize in this way that you're joining between department table to employee table, right? So if we see that department ID 20 is matching, so this record will come for sure. Then department 30 is coming, then this record will come. If you see department 40 is not matching, right? So what happens is this record will also come, but all the left side columns will come as null because I am doing a right join. So all the right tables records will come, but if there are any non-matching records, then left side records will come as null. So because you can think in this way, right? You are joining between this table and this table. Now for this row, it does not have any joining rows, right? Then you cannot join it with anything. Then eventually you have to populate this with null. I hope that you understood this. Let's see full outer join. So you can think of full outer join as a combination of inner join with left join with right outer join, right? So first let's think about let's see how does it work, right? So if you see that I'm doing join between employee table with department table on employee department ID to department ID. Let's see how does it work. So let's think in this way, let's first do the inner join. So inner join between these two table, if you see this is matching, this will come into result set. Then this is matching, this will come into result set, right? This is not matching. So let's think in this way that your inner join has finished. Now you have to do a left join because this is not matching, but it has to come in a left join, right? So it comes in a result set, and right side columns will come at null. Okay, but if you see that in the right side, this 40 as cells, this record we did not consider it yet, right? So that will come as a right join. So if you come here, this is not matching, but that will also come in a result set, but all the left side columns will come as null. So I'll show a very interesting example of this full outer join that will make a lot of sense to understand that when you'll be using full outer join. I hope this particular diagram was useful and you are able to understand the join. Let's see left semi join. So if you see left semi join, so is a variation of inner join, I would say. Okay, so basically if you see that we are selecting everything from employee with employee, and we are doing a left semi join with department on the same clause. But generally, how does this work? If you are joining two table, you will be getting columns from both tables, right? But suppose I don't want to do that. I want to select only the matching rows between employee table to department table, and I only want to project the columns for the left side table, right, for the employee table. So let's see the visualization so it will make more sense. So if you see that first I'll join 20, this will come in result set. But if you see, even if we did select everything, but the columns from right side table did not come here. So that's the beauty of left semi join. So this provides a very handy tool for you to just remove some of the external, like you need to add some extra steps to do that, right? First you'll be joining, then you'll be discarding all the right side columns. Rather than doing that, you can just use left semi join. Then the same, it matches 30 and 10 is not matching, then 10 will not come in the result set because it's just a variation of inner join. Only thing is, like, it will just select the left side records, left side columns. So let's see the left anti join. So if you see that in the SQL statement, then I am selecting everything from employee to department and I am doing a left anti join. So left anti join works in a way that it will only select the non matching rows, right, from table 1 to table 2. Let's see an example, let's see the visualization so that we understand how does this work, right? So if you see that this particular department ID is matching, but it will not consider, right? This did not came in the result set, and this is also matching, even this will not come into result set. But if you see this particular department ID is not matching, so we'll get this in the result set, right? So sometime in questions, like while you'll be solving question or where you'll be dealing with some data, you might require to find out this type of analysis, that what are the non-matching records from table 1 to table 2. Then you can use this left anti join, right? Let's see the cross join. So if you see that cross join is nothing but it's a Cartesian product between table 1 and table 2. So if you see that I have a table of master and second table is types. So in tables you have different items, and in here you have different types. So I want to find out what are the combination that I can have chicken, paneer, egg, right? So chicken I can have try, I can have as a curry, I can have as a kofta. So similarly I want to find out what are the combination. Then you can use the cross join. If you see that we are doing the cross join between master and types, and this is how the data will look like. So first it will do a join like this, then chicken will be joined with curry, then chicken you can have as a kofta. Similarly it will be applied for paneer and egg. So if you see, for paneer and egg it has been applied. So that's how this cross join works. I hope this visualization was helpful. So we have seen all the join types. Let's see the demo for it, so it will be more clearer, right? Before going to that, if you remember that in our syntax we have explained that we have to pass something called as join type, right? What type of join it is. So if you see that for every keyword, like suppose you want to do inner join, you can pass inner, right? Suppose you want to do a full outer join, you can pass any of this, right? You can either pass outer, full outer, full underscore outer. Similarly for other joins. right? For left semi join, it is semi, left underscore semi. So either one of this will work. So now let's see like how this join works with real world examples, right? So we'll run all the examples in PySpark. So if you see that I have the same example here, this is the employee table and this is a department table, right? Now let's do the inner join, right? So if we see that I'm doing inner join between this employee df and department df, and this is the condition that I'm doing, and I'm passing how as inner, right? So this is the result, right? Now let's see some of the variation of writing this join, because if you'll see that different people write the joins in a different way, right? In a lot of ways. So you should know like what are the different ways that you can write PySpark join, right? So if you see that we already saw this one, right, where you'll be providing the on clause and the how clause, right? So this is totally optional, so you can just omit that on clause and how clause here. And if you see that this is like you are just doing the comparison between columns, right? So if you see, this is another way of doing the comparison. So employee df, you are selecting this particular column from this df and you're comparing that with department id from department df. So this is another way of passing the joining column, right? And another way is, suppose these two data frame have a lot of columns, right? And they have some ambiguous column, right? Then it is better that you give some alias and you select only the column that is required. So I really like this approach for any join in PySpark. So basically if you see that I'm doing employee df, I'm giving it as alias, okay? I'm giving department df as alias, then I'm selecting this column. So I'm just mentioning that employee dot employee id, so this is coming from employee, and similarly d dot department id, so this is coming from department table. Then I'm doing a inner join. So I really like this approach. So it's upon you like how you want to use it. So if you see, all these are giving the same result, right? If you see, all these are giving the same result. So this is just I wanted to show like what are different ways that you can use PySpark join. Now let's see like if we see this particular data set that I have joined between employee and department df, but if you see that I'm joining between this department id and this department id, but this is coming as duplicate, right? Because this is the joining column and this two column is coming here, but this is just a waste of memory, right? You do not need the duplicate columns. Then how to deal with it? Option 1, what you can do is, first, if you see, what I'm doing is I'm doing a rename of employee ID as department ID. I'm giving it a alias, right? Then I'm joining with department DF. I'm giving it alias. And if you see now, both data frame, employee data frame and department DF has the same column name, right? Department ID. So I can pass this as a string or array, right? So if you have two data frame where your column names are same, you can just provide is a string or array, right? So if you see that I've just provided is a array, so this is a joining column, and if you see here, I'm only getting one particular column, right? I'm not getting the duplicate column here. So I'm getting department ID, employee name, department name, right? So this is option 1. Option 2 is you drop the extra column, right? Not every time you want to do the with column rename, you want to rename it and do something. And so better what you do is like once you do join, so if you see I'm doing the joining and then I'm dropping from department df, right? So I'm dropping the column which is coming from department df. So this is another way to do it. So most of the cases you'll do this, right? You'll join to the data frame and then you'll drop whatever is not required. See one example where we are using multiple columns. So if you see that I want to join this two column, right? But I want to give this join clause in a different way. So basically you can also use this. You can create a join expression. So basically what I'm doing is I'm joining between employee data frame and department df on the department id, and I want to join only if the department name is IT. So this is one condition and this is another condition, and there is a and between it. So you create a join expression. Then it's the same, only you have to use it if you see that you are joining between employee df to department df and you're passing the join expression. So this is another way of writing joins, right? So this will give you the result like this. Okay, now if you see that once we are joining, we have to select this columns, right? So I'm selecting from employee id. I'm selecting because once this is joined, I want to get only columns from the left side tables. I don't want anything from the right side tables. Basically, I don't want any columns from department df. So I have to write a extra statement, right? I have to select this. But rather than this, if you remember that we have talked about left semi, right? So basically you can just use the same expression, only you have to change the join type. So if you do that, you don't have to write extra select statement here. So this will give you the same result. So if you see, if you compare this result, it's the same, right? One join 20, one join 20, right? Now let's see the example of left outer join, right? So I have a task where I need to find out like what are the employees whose department ID is not assigned, right? So I want to find out that, right? So what I'll do is I'll join between employee and department df on the same department ID and I'll give left outer join. Once I do this, I'll see for this employee ID there was no department, right? There was not a matching records with department df. That's why you're giving a null here, because there was not matching, because this is exactly what I wanted, right? I wanted the employees whose department ID was not assigned, right? Now it's a just matter of giving on filter statement to get this record. So that exactly what we are doing here. We are doing a filter on top of that data frame where department ID is null. Then we are just selecting the whatever columns we need. So if we see, this particular employee does not have any department name. So if you see here in left outer join, I have to do some checks, right? Rather than that, in place of this, I can use left anti-join, because if you remember, left anti-join only selects the non-matching records, right? And that exactly what we want here. We want only the non-matching records. So you can just use this, you can provide the left anti-join and you will get the result like this. So if you see, these two will result the same, right? So this depends upon your use cases. Then there are a lot of use cases you can find where you can use left anti-join easily. Let's see the right outer join. I want to get a report of how many employees are there per department, right? So first I'll do a join between employee and department df as right outer join. If you see that this is the result, for 40 there were no employees, right? That's why these are all nulls, right? So what I'll do is I'll select only the column that are required for me, right? So this is the data that I'll get, right? IT 20, marketing 30 and sales, there are no employee department ID, right? So what I'll do is I'll do a group by and I'll do some aggregate to find out what are the employee count per department, right? So you see that you will get for IT and marketing there are one employee, but for sales there were no employees, right? So this is how you can use right outer join. Let's see one example for full outer join. So this is a very interesting example. So if you see that you have two data, right? Two data frame actually. One is for employee df 2022, one is employee df 2023. So you have two data frame where you have the data for 2022 and 2023. And if you see, for each there are some employee IDs and here also there are employees and the designation are there for each employee. So I want to find out from this two data frame what are the employees that have joined recently. Are there employees who are promoted? Are there any employees who have resigned, right? So I want to find that. how I'm gonna do that? That's where you can use outer join. So if we see, this is the same thing. I'm joining between these two data frame. I'm passing the employee ID. So I'm passing this employee ID 1 with employee ID 2, right? And I'm doing a full outer join, right? So if you see, this is the result that he got. So if you see for this three, yeah, these are the matching records, right, between two data frame. And if you see, the designation have changed from trainee to developer. Then he was developer, now he's still developer, so there was no promotion for him. And there was a senior developer who became manager, right? Good for him. So there was a employee, right? But it does not have any records in the 2023 data frame. So it means that in 2023 this particular employee has resigned, right? That's why they don't have any records in 2023 databases. But if you see that this particular record is not there in 2022, but this is there in 2023, right? So that means it's a trainee. Then there is just a fancy when and on clause that I have just applied, so you can just go through it to find out if there are any what is the status, right? So basically the when and otherwise clause is just like, if there are any changes in designation, then it's promoted. If there are nothing, there is a no change. If so if we see that this particular ID is coming and resigned, and this is the new joining. So if we see that using a full outer join, it was so easy to find out if there was any change between designation from one data frame to another data frame. Now let's see what is the cross join. So if we see that we have the same thing, we have a meal and we have a drinks, right? Now I went to a restaurant. I want to know like what are the different combination between meals and drinks I can have. That's when you'll be using cross join. So you can join between, so this is the clause, right, between meals df to drinks df. You don't have to pass any other argument, you just have to do a cross join. So if you see, these are all combination between meals and drinks, right? I hope that it makes sense. Okay, now let's see like how we are using the left semi. So if you see that, suppose I do the inner join between these two data frame, right, I'll get a result like this, right? Okay, now let's see like how this left semi join works. So if you see that I'm joining between this employee df to department df as a inner join, right? I get, after that I get this particular result, but I only need the columns from left side, right, from employee data frame. So what I have to do is like, after this join I have to do a select statement. I have to pass all the column name from employee table, right? So that's a extra and you want to avoid. That's when you can use left semi join, right? So I'm passing department df, I'm joining with employee df, I'm passing the joining clause, and then I'm passing how to join it. Then you'll get this result. So that's a fancy way to get. So I hope that you understood this one as well. So I hope that I was able to help you to understand PySpark join in details. So I'll suggest you to do some SQL questions on join. So this will help you to understand joins in much more depth, right? And lastly, if you like the video, please give this video a like so that it reaches to wider audience, and let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. This will motivate me to make more interesting videos for you guys. So see you in the next video.